Welcome back everyone. Today we are going to be taking a look at some Warmachine prints. That's right, the miniatures that caused me to look into Warmachine in the first place are being manufactured right now, being printed right now, just over there, on the other side of that wall. Safety first. Don't stand in a room where there's a resin printer going. That's not good for your health, which is why I'm not doing it. Anyway, this video serves a double purpose. It's not just taking a look at those miniatures once they've been completed, it's also for talking about the Reflex RS, because this video is sponsored by HeyGears. And HeyGears want you to know that right now, you can pick up the Reflex RS for $699. Something to note, the normal price is $999, so that is nearly a third of the price off right up until September 30th. If you were thinking of picking one of these printers up, now is absolutely the time to do so. Also, if you decide to do that using my link, the first 5 people who use my discount code also get a free bottle of resin as well. In fact, it's the water washable resin. So if that is of interest to you, you better get onto it quickly because you need to be one of the first 5 to get that free bottle. Now, it's no good me just saying, hey, this is currently on sale, you should pick one up. Instead, we need to talk about why it's the only resin printer that I still use, because it is the only one I still use. I don't have any others even plugged in. They've been drained, and they now sit in storage, kind of being neglected, because, I mean, I have a choice. I have effectively the choice when it comes to printers for me, and that is, do I want to do the things that I found tedious or not? See, I've said before, I really love 3D printing, but I'm not a 3D printing enthusiast. I'm enthusiastic about the idea of being able to just produce miniatures in my garage. Like, that is still some future tech stuff to me. It feels like it shouldn't be real, but it is. I'm enthusiastic about the idea of finding something cool, and then, like, 6 hours later, I just have it in my hands. Say 6 hours, it's usually quite a big model. That tends to happen quite a bit. Oh, here's a greater demon looking thing. I should just print it. And then I do. I'm really enthusiastic about the idea of thinking about an encounter for D&D, then finding the miniatures that I need for it, loading them up, and having that encounter all ready to be painted literally by the end of the same day, without having to leave the house. These are the things that I love 3D printing for. The things that I don't love are having to mess around leveling the build plate, having to faff around with dialing in settings for new and different resins. I don't care about any of that. I don't want to know. When it comes to the parameters of how do you get the best performance out of this specific resin with this specific printer, don't talk to me. Just print the thing and let me have it. That is where I'm at when it comes to 3D printing. For a while there, that attitude wasn't viable, but it is now with the Reflex RS, which is why I like it so much. I mean, we've got an auto-leveling build plate. It tracks the lifespan of the release film. It has temperature detection, which is super important because I print in an uninsulated garage. Things like residue detection, and yes, it is a closed ecosystem. The Reflex RS uses Blueprint Studio as the slicer, and it relies on resin made by HeyGears. And for some people that's a deal breaker, and I understand why that would be the case, but it's not for me because that takes out all of the stuff to do with calibration and, changing out settings depending on the resin you're using and so on and so forth. I don't need to care or worry about any of that. I just pick the resin I want to use, pour it in, and then I go into Blueprint Studio, and then when I'm slicing my models, I say I have these peripherals, I have this particular resin tank, and I'm using this particular resin, and I want it at this quality, and that's it. I don't have to do anything else. And that, to me, absolute perfection. Of course, being locked into one specific slicer only works if that slicer is good. Luckily, Blueprint is incredibly easy to use and is absolutely rammed with tools that mean you should, in theory, have absolutely no problems printing pretty much anything. If you want to just throw pre-supported models in there, and you don't even want to lay them out yourself, it can do that for you with the Auto Layout tool. If you have a bunch of unsupported models and you want to get them ready for slicing as quickly as possible without messing around yourself, you can use the one-click slice tool, which will repair the STLs to make sure there's no flaws or issues with them, orient them, support them, lay them out, and then slice them. All at the same time without any input necessary from you outside of naming it. And even then, you don't have to name the slice if you don't want to. Plus, when it comes to doing that one-click slice option, you can have it send the file straight to the Reflex RS as soon as it's done, which is super helpful. Additionally, if you've got a model that's pre-supported, you can put it in Blueprint, you can highlight it, then you can tell Blueprint to remove the supports that are already there. Then you repair it and generate your own supports in place of the ones that were already there. And here's the thing, I've said all along I like the low-effort, hassle-free version of all of this, which is what Blueprint is perfectly capable of. If you want to really get in there options-wise when it comes to supports, custom parameters like critical angle, contact points, base plate types, all of that stuff, you can absolutely do that. Even with things like the auto layout system, you can just click it and say do it. You can also change a bunch of different parameters for that as well. Blueprint is essentially as involved as you want to be. If you want to be quick and easy, it can do that. If you want an eye on the details, you can absolutely do that too. I should also point out that the file you generate in Blueprint for the Reflex RS isn't just for the Reflex RS. If you own the HeyGears wash and cure machines, you can send the same file that you've sent to the Reflex RS to those machines. That will dictate how long they wash and how long they cure for and what settings are used when they're being cured. So even when it comes to the cleaning and finishing processes for miniatures printed on the Reflex RS, I still don't have to think about what I'm doing, it still does it for me. Now, it's all very well talking about how easy to use and how efficient the Reflex RS and Blueprint Studio are, but without actually seeing some miniatures, it's impossible to gauge the quality of what they can produce. So I've got some miniatures. I've got some nice Warmachine miniatures. This is the Crix Cadre, and they look absolutely fantastic. Cadre? Every time. I just can't say it. They look brilliant, and they will hopefully give you a very good idea as to what the Reflex RS is capable of. I mean, I say that, I've shown off plenty of prints. I've never been unhappy with anything that's come out of that printer, and this time, no exception. Let's take a look at some miniatures so you can see what I mean. We're going to start out with this lad, because nothing says Warmachine like Warjacks, and this is the Extreme Plugger Warjack, and I love it. I absolutely love this. It's so fun. Now, he is jumping over some rubble, which is why the pose is a little odd. Also, why I haven't been able to get the base ready for him, because he was printed with a bunch of other stuff. There was not space for the base on that build plate. Very close to making that a proper rhyme there, but I stumbled at the last second. I love this thing. I love it. The twin Gatling cannons on top are fantastic. The exhaust having those, what are they called? The caps on them. I love the detail on it. And of course, looks pretty damn crisp. Very clean, apart from that bit of support that I've just noticed I didn't remove properly. That's my fault. Oh, the edges have come out so nicely. The surfaces that are supposed to be smooth are super smooth. The textured surfaces have come out really, really nice as well. I mean, it's a very cool model anyway. Who doesn't love effectively a robot with two massive swords and two almost as big guns? So many angular sharp bits that have just printed beautiful. Oh, love it. What a ridiculous model as well. I mean, it is very fun. It is very cool. But the whole double guns thing is just... it's silly. It's silly, but excellent. Let's go from big to small. This here is Aculon Themestra. I did have to just glance over and double check that I was getting the name right, but I did, so it's fine. There's no guarantee that I have put the arms on in the right order here. I just sort of went with what I thought would look cool. And to be fair, he does look excellent. The cloth has come out really nicely. Love that. That kind of alien-esque, smooth, helmeted head. Again, come out super nice. The detail on the little device he's holding in front of him, that's come out really good. But yeah, I really like this guy. Very creepy, very sinister. This is something from the same set. This is one of the Criterion. Yeah, I mean, that's had some heavy experimentation done to him. He does not look happy in so much as you can tell what he looks like. The flesh has come out really good on this. The skin looks great. You can see the stitches, the little scars and things. Lots of, small, fine detail, but also some quite, big, clear surfaces. And all of it has come out super, super well. That sword, by the way, that is sharp. Both of them are. I have stabbed myself a couple of times with these guys already, which I don't advise it. I don't advise it at all. It can be a little bit alarming when you mind your own business and you realise you've just got a severe pain in your finger. But look how clean and clear that is. Not a hint of layer line either. Nothing. Okay, this is Zilius Cyphus, and I've got to be super careful with him because his arms love falling off. There is a lot of small fine detail on them. It's just the contact points are quite small, and I think my super glue is maybe at the end of its life. It's not sticking them in, which is frustrating, but sometimes these things happen. Everything's fully cured, so I'm not sure what the issue is. I think it is probably the super glue, but you can still see the detail on there is really nice. All those little rivets, those little kind of piston parts, the buzzsaw there looks fantastic. This needle that he's got on the other arm. Oh, it's such a fun model. The cloth has come out super nice. The hands look absolutely great. The helmet I do like, but it has got quite a weird, smooth, bulbous look. Also, things like the buttons on the cloak there, absolutely fantastic. Look great. I really, really like this model a lot. Now, we have another of the Criterion lads. Nice big single eye helm on this guy. Looks fantastic. Again, things like that device that's been plugged into the chest and it's all like twisted and scarred round. Oh, it looks so, so cool. I also really like the little kind of electrode stud things going on this guy's helmet. Got a nice bit of power fist action going on there as well. Another buzzsaw. Big fans of buzzsaws, this lot. The cables look great. Yeah, this has come out super, super well. There's such a good mix of textures on these, like between the cables, the smooth metals, those kind of transistor bits sticking out as well. Then you've got cloth, skin, a bit of scarring here and there, and the musculature as well across the chest. Very, very clean. Really good. Now for a big lad, this is the Malfessor. And frankly, he's an absolute freak. Just so horrible, this model. He's got that little lad on top. Great helmet on the lad. Also the cable on there as well. Can you see that? Oh, it's so crisp, so clean. His gloves and his little creepy hands as well. Compare that to this lad. I mean, down to things like that gauge that's plugged into the chest. It's just so crisp. This is a very fun model. The flail is a little bit odd, so that sits on the ground. I initially thought that I'd had like a failure on the print, but it sits on the base as though it's like sunk into the ground. So also things like we've got like a splint there as well on the leg. The splint along with the skin, the bandages over the top. There's quite a lot of fine detail going on there, and it's all come out really nicely, especially around the midriff there as well. All those cables, that kind of stretched leather, along with the rivets. Finally, we've got Exulon Kythos, and frankly, this is a scary one. This is also one where I accidentally printed the wrong arm. So he's kind of got like an interesting setup. He's supposed to be more symmetrical than this, but I figured, you know what? Everyone could use an extra giant, like, scythe blade looking thing, so let's do that. He's just so, like, ethereal. The head looks great there as well. Look at all the like the rivets and the transistor things, whatever they're called. Very cool design. But yeah, the cloth has come out super nicely. There's a little bit of leg sticking out there, which has come out super well as well. Let's get in nice and close, see if I can get it to focus. I think that's the best we're going to manage. That's still pretty close though. The hands look fantastic, like the individual fingers, the details come out really nicely, and again, that massive contraption over the back of the head, it just looks great. Super, super solid. Really fun models these, really fun sculpts. A little bit fiddly to put together, especially the lads with the multiple spindly arms, but I think worth it in the end. Definitely worth it in the end. They look fantastic. God, I love those models so much. I just absolutely love them. They are both very, very sleek, but also quite gnarly. There's a little bit of a sort of like cartoony element to some of them, but they are also quite freaky at the same time. I love them. Now, before we end the video, I have to reinforce, once again, if you are thinking of picking up a Reflex RS, you should do it now. $699 compared to $999 is a ridiculous offer, and you should absolutely jump on it if you've been considering it. I will also point out that if you're thinking of getting the Reflex RS Turbo, now's a good time to do that as well, but not in the way that you might think. Because if you buy the Reflex RS and the amber screen that comes in the Turbo right now, you will end up paying less than if you just bought the Reflex RS Turbo. See, the thing is, the printers are essentially the same, the only difference is the amber screen that comes in the Turbo, but they sell it separately. That's what I did with mine. I've got the Reflex RS Turbo now because they sent the screen and I swapped the screens out. HeyGears have set up a Reflex RS plus amber screen bundle that works out cheaper than buying the RS Turbo. So if you're considering that, now's probably the time to jump on that as well, because I mean, why wouldn't you? Of course, if you are going to do any of that, you do need resin as well, and at the moment there is a deal on their PAWW10 resin, so HeyGears water washable resin. There are 4 bottles of that available for $99 as opposed to $220. So not a bad start if you want to start churning out armies. Now, if you're not sure of the difference between, normal resin and water washable resin, the clue is in the name. You can wash it in water as opposed to having to use alcohol to clean it off. Now, if you are just starting out, it's not a bad shout to start out with water washable because it means you don't have to mess around with alcohol. So you're not having to store it, you're also not having to dispose of it, and you don't have a fairly pungent smell every time you clean whatever's come off the build plate. There are some downsides to most water washable resins in their lower precision, and they don't age quite as well because they have quite a high absorption rate, so they will swell and crack over time. However, HeyGears don't like that, so they have created a water washable resin that's got one of the lowest absorption rates out of all of them to reduce that impact and reduce that problem. So it's worth thinking about that if you are grabbing a printer now, because that is a lot of resin for not as much as it would normally be, not nearly as much as it would normally be, and if you're just starting out, as I say, less odor, and if you don't want to be bothered with that, the PAWW10 resin is the solution for it. And with that, I shall leave you. Follow the link in the description or in the pinned comment down below to check out the Reflex RS. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you thought of the miniatures down below, and I will see you for the next one.